If you've been following along with the channel for a little while, you know that I'm into repairing stuff. Typically that is Macs. I like to fix MacBooks, iMacs, and even iPhones and iPads sometimes. But today we're taking it a little bit of a different way, and we're going to be fixing up a drone. Now I have crashed my fair share of drones, and I've flown several different drones. This is just a very cheap, small drone that's going to help me get ready to fly maybe FPV drones. I have crashed this a little bit, but it's very light, so it doesn't really do much damage. And one day I went to turn it on, and one of the motors doesn't work anymore. I don't know why. So that's what we're here to do today. We're here to fix a broken motor, see what's wrong with it. Maybe the motor's fine, something else is wrong with it. Who knows? So let's go ahead and I'll show you the issue, then we'll get taking this apart. Now if I turn the motors on, you'll see the issue. You can see that right there. All of them are spinning except this one right here. So let's go ahead and take it apart and see if we can get this working again. So the first thing we'll do is we'll pull the propellers off. And then I've already taken off the screws on the bottom, but up here we have these little tabs that we have to pull back in order to release this clip right here. So we'll just pull that off, and then we can take off this top piece right there, and we got the drone itself. Now this is actually pretty cool how it looks like. He's got a whole circuit board with everything on it, and the rest is just two pieces of plastic, which is pretty cool. So I think we just pull this back, and this will pop out these little things on the side here. And there we go. We now have the circuit board removed. And, well, there's one issue. Looks like this wire has broken off already. That's the wrong motor. Interesting. I think we'll have to resolder that back on. I must have broken that when I pulled it out right now. But that's fine. We will solder this back on, but this is the bad motor right here. So we're going to take a closer look at this and see if anything looks bad within the circuitry between the main logic and the motor. So this is the bad motor, and taking a look at it, it doesn't look like there's any issues with it. So what I'm going to do, since I already broke off this one wire, I think it got snagged on the plastic, is I'm going to unsolder this other wire. This is a known good motor. We're going to solder it onto this one and see if it's the motor that's not working or if it's the circuitry in between. So we'll take this motor off, we'll take this one off, we'll put this one on here. So let's go to the soldering station and let's go ahead and get working on it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some flux, and we're going to put flux on both the motor that already has the cable that's been ripped off, unfortunately, and then on the bad motor. That's going to help the solder flow a little bit easier, considering factory solder isn't always the best, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to actually loosen up. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the motor that's already been partially ripped off. My fault. And we will take that, and it's actually a good thing. I was planning on removing one of the motors anyway so that I could test it in the place of the bad one. So let's put some flux on that, heat up the area with the soldering iron, and it should come right off. Now we're going to do the same thing for the next motor, use that flux and pull that motor off. Now here's the fun part. We're going to resolder the good motor into the position of the bad motor. The whole point of this is to see if the motor is bad or if the circuitry is bad. So let's go ahead and put that on. And now that is on, let's go ahead and turn on the drone and see if it works. And it does, so that does mean that we have a bad motor. So we just need to get one of those. This drone is actually kind of old, so it's hard to find parts for this. Luckily enough, I was able to go to a hobby store. Remember those things? Yeah, hobby stores before Amazon existed. And they actually happen to have the exact same motor pretty much. So I picked it up, came in a 2-pack, it was pretty cheap, and now let's go ahead and get these soldered on. So let's go ahead and put the new motor on. It's pretty simple and straightforward. All we have to do is just line up the wires, put them in the right section, and then solder them on. There's still a little bit of flux on there, so we don't have to worry about putting more on. And it's actually really, really simple. If you are going to get into soldering, this is a great way to practice. Take on and off the motors of your drone. So with the motor back on, let's go ahead and see if it works. Let's turn it on, connect the controller, and there you go, it works. The motor runs and the drone is back to life. All right, great news. The new motor is on and the drone works perfectly. I did also replace this other one, the good one. I replaced that one as well. Might as well have two brand new motors on it. So let's go ahead, put this back together and see if this all works. We'll got our power switch here and we'll find, there it is right there. We'll just line that up and we'll just plop it in. And now we'll just take our top plate, put that on as well, and we'll snap that back into place right on top. And just like that, the top is back on the drone. We just got 4 screws and this will be all back together. Alrighty, that is all put back together. Now, let's just go ahead, throw on the propellers, and the moment of truth, let's see if we can take off here. And just like that, the drone's all back together, it's working perfectly, and I'm back to having fun with it. It's a very satisfying thing when you can take something that you used, it broke, you fix it yourself, and you're back to using it again. That's the coolest thing ever. And hey, it was pretty cheap as well. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and get subscribed so you don't miss any other videos when we fix other stuff. Thank you for watching as always. This is Mark and I will see you in the next one.